Hello, kids, and welcome back to Not Another Musical Podcast. I'm your host, Allie Teeples.
And I'm Mark Torres.
And we're back.
What's up, girl? How are you?
I'm good.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Are you excited for Mary Poppins?
I
This is
am
like
very
one of your very
excited.
favorite things.
It is one of my very favorite things. So, I, as well as everyone, enjoys the magic of Disney.
Yeah.
I shouldn't generalize like that, but
Yeah.
I am.
Well, we'll get
And
into that further when we
I
start
think
talking.
that Mary Poppins is one of their best musical masterpieces of all
Yeah,
time.
and I hadn't seen it in over 25 years.
Yeah, so it was like you were going
On
into
celluloid.
It new.
Celluloid.
It was like you were going into it new,
Yeah,
which
yeah,
is great.
Yeah. Yeah. But first tell me about your week. Anything special? Just Rona week?
Just been working a lot.
Okay.
And yeah, it's just been kind of a typical week. We had like a couple friends over for Halloween. Nothing too crazy, guys. Like we
Rona
were safe.
party. You millennial. Rona party. Unbelievable.
No, it was like a very...
Am I exposed right now?
No.
So I have off-Broadway news and I have off-Broadway news.
Tell me.
I'm going to tell you off-Broadway first.
'Kay.
Okay? Off-Broadway, the LA Dodgers beat the Tampa Bay Rays,
Wow.
Game 6.
Baseball the
and
musical.
are the World Series champions for the first time since 1988.
I know that.
And for the first time also since 1988, the Lakers and the Dodgers are champions.
Wow.
So that's really, really cool. I saw both of them with my cousins and my nephews, which is just like an awesome
I like to think that's like a little
memory.
Kobe blessing or something.
It is KB looking down on us because 2020 was not the best year.
No, but
Not the best year.
things are looking up,
So-
Sam. It'll be okay.
So KB
Everything
gave
will be
us
okay.
the old wink and a smile, the old
Yeah.
okey doke from heaven.
Yeah.
I like that. I'm with that.
It's nice.
So that's my off Broadway news.
And then what's your Broadway news?
Do you want my off Broadway news?
Yeah.
Okay, so off Broadway news. Your boyfriend Adam Pascal,
Please stop.
your favorite singer on earth, Adam Pascal, is set for a musical reading of The Scarlet Letter, which only makes me hope that it's the real version of The Scarlet Letter, which we know as Easy A. But it's not.
But his voice.
But it's not.
Do you know how much
I don't
Adam
think...
Pascal's voice makes sense to me in a Scarlet Letter setting? It doesn't.
Not at all. Not
a million
not
percent.
At all.
No thanks.
For some reason, the Scarlet Letter strikes me as it would be a wild horn. Doesn't it just seem like it would be a wild horn?
It totally does.
It would so be a
Are you
wild
thinking
horn.
of Scarlet Pimpernel?
Well, no, but like all of his stories are just those.
Are like old,
Like his newest thing is Count of Monte Cristo.
old, like depressing. Not even all the time depressing, but like he does like the very like old stories.
Yeah.
Retold
It just
thing.
feels like it would be a wild horn to me. But anyway, I don't think we'll be so lucky because this is the little blurb I pulled. It says, it is a sung through. This sung through. I can't. 3 hours of him singing through?
Well, I don't think it's just him, right?
Yeah, I guess. Maybe he dies.
Is he the guy that like
Does
sleeps
a
with
guy
her?
die? Does a guy die in that? No, huh? I don't remember.
Is he the guy that sleeps with her and like?
I don't know. It didn't give me much information, but it just said this sung through adaptation of Nathaniel Hawthorne's tale of Hester Prynne and the aftermath of her public punishment for adultery features a mix of contemporary musical styles, including rock, pop, folk, roots, and soul. And I think we don't need a musical Hester Prynne. We need a musical Olive from Easy A. And also, can you imagine Stanley Tucci's character in a musical version?
Oh, that's hilarious.
That Stanley Tucci would be the character to be. Like, that would be, like, he would absolutely just kill.
You literally named every single fucking genre just now. It's gonna feature pop, soul, jazz, rock,
Roots, reggae,
folk, country.
Well, that's what it said, man.
Pick a lane, my
I didn't write the
dudes.
musical.
And also, none of those coincide with Scarlet Letter for me.
No.
But okay.
None of those really coincide with Adam Pascal's voice except for rock.
Yeah.
Can you imagine him singing folk?
Holy
That just
yikes.
sounds so bad. That sounds like a bad idea.
It's a bluegrass rock folk metal. Hair metal.
Bluegrass. Yeah, but when I read the...
That would actually be so funny. A hair metal version of the Scarlet Letter featuring
Letter?
Adam Pascal.
Yeah. That would make more sense than this.
Totally would.
But I just got excited because when I read it, just in the headline, the caption, and it said Scarlet.
You're all hoping.
It said Scarlet Letter. I was just like, oh snap! Is it going to be Easy A?
Would be a great
Easy A would just be. It would write itself.
I'm saving that for our writers' room episode where we dive deep into things that we want to be musicals. But
yeah, I would say that's at the top 3 though.
Oh,
it would
totally.
It would very, very easily.
I'm not going to disclose my other ones where I'm like, why haven't you made this? But
yeah,
it'll get there.
Okay.
So, anyways, let's get into this week's episode.
Okay.
Mary Poppins.
Places, everyone.
Thank you, Places.
The curtain's up.
The seats are full.
It's not another musical.
Here we go.
So before we start, just a disclaimer that we are not musical theater critics. We're just 2 musical theater nerds with very strong opinions. You could agree with our opinions. You could disagree with our opinions. That's okay. They're just our opinions.
Yeah.
We're still happy to have you.
Yeah. Thanks for coming along.
Yeah. So without further ado, let's pile into our musical theater time machine and set it for the year 2006.
Wow.
Guys, I have to like be out in the open because I think it's so funny. So I had done all the work for 2004 only to have the total flashback to one of our first episodes that I had already done 2004. So we looked at 2003. We're like, okay, it was workshopped in 2003. Great. We had already done 2003 as well. So I settled on when it opened on Broadway in 2006. And we haven't done 2006. And even if we have, don't tell me.
Yeah.
So,
who cares?
This is what's happening.
Here we go.
This is what's happening in 2006. The U.S. releases the Nintendo Wii.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It was like, it was really hard to get it.
It was released in the U.S. then.
They always release that shit at Christmas time.
My parents went to go get it like same day. They were so excited. My dad was like, yeah. It was so fun. The Great American Strike. It was a boycott by immigrants, including legal and illegal immigrants of mostly Latin American origin, against schools and businesses by not buying, selling, working, or attending school.
Okay.
Do you remember that?
Vaguely.
I moved to North Carolina that year, and like, I don't think they had like an awareness of like that.
Sure. Yeah.
Because I was in like podunk nowhere.
Yeah.
But I found it very interesting.
Okay.
A 6.6 earthquake at sea hits the state of Hawaii.
Oh, yeah.
You remember that? And Barry Bonds of the San Francisco Giants breaks the record held by Babe Ruth. He hits his 715th home run on May 28th.
But he didn't really because he was juicing.
We had this discussion with
There's a big asterisk by his name.
But Lance Armstrong, like we literally just talked about this last time. Yeah. And then the 1 billionth song is purchased on iTunes.
What song was it?
I don't know.
What?
I couldn't find it. You think I didn't want to know?
Yeah, I
totally did want to know.
Wow.
We could stay tuned. That'll be our loose end. Okay, famous deaths. We have Steve Irwin, the crocodile hunter.
Oh yeah, that was sad. Like a stingray killed him, right?
Yeah. And it was like a super weird one-off too. Like stingrays don't normally eject.
Yeah, and it hit him in a very specific part of his heart.
In the heart. Yeah, like wild.
Yeah.
Aaron Spelling.
He's dead?
Yeah, he died in 2006.
Oh, my condolences.
Shelley Winters.
I don't think.
And Don Knotts.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
2000. Wow.
He lived a while.
In his 80s, right?
Yeah.
Had to have been.
Yeah. Or do you think he was even older? I mean, he was kind of old when he was doing his shows and like.
No, he was like 45.
He was 45 in Three's Company?
No! In the movies, girl. Not Three's Company.
Yeah,
Who did you say?
Don Knotts.
Don Knotts. Yeah. No. He was older in Three's Company.
Because that was in the 70s.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Like older. So older than that.
No, I'm
right?
thinking of the movies, the Disney movies, the classics. I'm thinking of.
Oh,
he was like 40,
yeah,
like
but that predated Three's Company, and when he did Three's Company, he had to have been like 60.
60.
So.
And that was like the late 80s.
No, 70s.
Really?
Yeah.
Late 70s.
Like 75, 6.
So yeah, maybe he made it to his 90s.
Probably, man. Notable Broadway. So these are either I'm not really. I did like shows that opened, so most of these are revivals.
Okay, and also before you start, we cannot for the life of us find Ed Gein the musical.
No, we tried.
And
it's so sad.
It does exist. It seemed like it was a small project. So if it ever was in New York, it was off Broadway. But I can't find footage of it anywhere. And okay, obviously it was also recorded because remember we found a song on YouTube, right?
It looks like
it looks drugs.
It was,
but I want to see
crazy.
it.
I mean, of course.
Yeah.
So these were ones that were. I think there might be one that was written that year, but that's because I'm not really sure when it was written. So you can tell me.
Okay.
A chorus line.
Yeah.
Obviously, that was not written in 2006.
Thank you for that.
Company.
Also
was
not
a revival.
Written.
High Fidelity.
Yeah.
How the Grinch Stole Christmas.
High Fidelity only played like, I think 3 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
It really tanked, and it makes me so sad because it does have some really good songs in it.
Yeah.
And it's one of my favorite movies, and it's a really good movie, and I think it had a lot of potential. Actually, just had this conversation this week with someone that didn't know it existed, and I sent them kind of the opening song, Desert Island Top 5 Breakups, and my buddy was like, "This is really." It was my cousin. He was like, "This is really good. This shows potential," and I'm like, "Yeah, I know." I'm like, it just didn't. Nobody went. No, sad.
Geez, sorry about my loud ass neighbors back there. What are
I
they
don't even,
doing?
I don't
Clawing
even
at the
hear
wall?
What did you say after High Fidelity?
How the Grinch Stole Christmas.
On Broadway?
On Broadway.
I had no idea.
Wild.
I had no idea.
And Spring Awakening.
Yeah.
What did that?
That's original.
Yeah, that opened in 2006. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's what I thought. And Best Little Whorehouse. There was a revival.
Oh, Presh.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Who, in 2006, I don't know who it would have been.
I do not. You know what? I was watching videos. I don't remember her name, though.
I don't know who's played it a couple times. Didn't Anne Margaret play it once? Dolly played it in the movie, obviously.
Yes. This was not somebody that I knew prior to. Okay. I'll have to check again.
Okay.
Okay, so movies that came out that year.
Okay.
This was a whole mishmash of like weird.
Okay.
The Pink Panther with
Steve Martin. Yeah, he's so good in that.
Yeah. Nanny McPhee.
I don't know what that is.
Remember that one? It had Emma Thompson in it.
Nope.
V for Vendetta.
I just watched it last night. Last night was the 5th of November.
Yeah.
Remember the 5th of November. I watched it last night.
Failure to Launch. That was the one with Matthew McConaughey and Sarah Jessica Parker.
Remember an awareness of it, but I don't think I saw that.
Garfield.
Okay.
And Thank You for Smoking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I saw that.
Yeah.
That was like a documentary.
Yeah, it's a movie. It has
Am I confusing it with? Oh, yes. I remember. Yeah.
I was like, well, what are we talking about?
Yeah. I do remember. I think I don't remember what class I was taking. The teacher recommended us to get it to watch it, and I think we got extra credit for it or something like that.
Nice. Yeah. That's good.
Yeah.
Okay, cost of living. It's so different.
Yeah.
Okay. So the annual income was $37,900, which is so low. Gallon of milk was $3.23.
Yep.
A dozen eggs was 98 cents. A loaf of bread was 97 cents.
Okay.
A U.S. postage stamp
was 32.
9.
Damn.
Oh, new car,
2006. 28.
28,800. Yeah. Gallon of gas.
Gallon
of gas.
239.
303.
Fuck.
Movie ticket, $6.04.
Okay.
Price of a new house.
Let's go with 289.
266.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so thank you for taking that journey to 2006
yeah, it was
with
so
me.
Different.
We've been to every other year. I just thought maybe we should go to 2006 as well.
Yeah.
Okay, so the synopsis.
Hit me.
Of Mary Poppins the musical.
The musical.
Okay. So the Dracavolt, the Drac. I'm done. Okay, thanks for being here.
Yep.
The Jack of all trades, Bert, the chimney sweep, introduces us to England. I cannot speak today.
What's wrong with you?
I don't know. I think it's just exhaustion.
It's not
honestly.
Oktoberfest anymore. You can't.
Introduces us to England in 1910 and the troubled Banks family. Young Jane and Michael have sent many a nanny packing before Mary Poppins arrives on their doorstep. Using a combination of magic and common sense, she must teach the family members how to value each other again. Mary Poppins takes the children on magical and memorable adventures, but Jane and Michael aren't the only ones upon whom she has a profound effect. Even grown-ups can learn a lesson or two from the nanny, who advises that anything can happen if you let it.
Nice. Look at you, little incorporation. Okay, so you ready for history?
Yes.
There's kind of a lot, so I'm going to definitely punch through like the tours and stuff. But Mary Poppins is a musical with music and lyrics by Richard and Robert Sherman, the Sherman Brothers. And additional music and lyrics by George Stiles and Anthony Drew, and a script by Julian Fellows. Okay, the Sherman Brothers wrote more motion picture musical song scores than any other songwriting team in film history. Did you know that?
Now, okay, before you get into history of the musical, I have some history of the film, so which order would you like to do this in? Since one does predate the other, and I don't have that much.
Okay, let me get
It might set you up for
but let me get to let me finish a little bit here.
You do it.
So the Sherman Brothers, right?
Love
Are you
them.
ready for how
Yes.
prolific these guys are?
Yes, let's do it.
Sherman Brothers film scores include Mary Poppins, Chitty Chitty Bang Bang,
Oh my God.
The Jungle Book, minus The Bare Necessities. Okay, The Bare Necessities was written by Terry Gilkison, but they wrote the rest of it.
I love The Bare
Necessities.
Necessities.
is a
So
masterpiece.
good.
It is such a good song. Bed Knobs and Broomsticks, The Happiest Millionaire, Charlotte's Web,
Stop.
and The Aristocats. Okay.
Okay.
First of all,
People hate on the Aristocats
fuck
so
people.
hard.
Fuck people.
I know.
The Aristocats is a masterpiece.
Brilliant.
The Aristocats, I mean, like, literally how freaking cool is everybody wants to be a cat. Come on.
I loved that when
No.
you sing your skills.
Oh my
in
God.
your
Dun, 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 dun. Yes, no,
Don't
it is.
show me.
Dude, the Aristocats is a freaking masterpiece. How dare people?
I know.
Okay, and their most well-known work, however, remains the theme park songs, There's a Great Big Beautiful Tomorrow,
Yeah.
and It's a Small World After All.
Oh, love that.
I wonder if these guys have any money.
Um,
Which, according to Time.com, is the most performed song of all time. They probably have a little bit of money. Probably.
the most performed song is a Small World?
Yeah.
It's because it plays on a loop
Plays
for
on a loop
14 hours.
all day long. All around the world. Yeah. Additional song and lyric team George Stiles and Anthony Drew have worked together for over 30 years and together have penned Just So, Honk! Exclamation Point, Peter Pan, A Musical Adventure, so not the old Peter Pan, a different one, Betty Blue Eyes, Soho Cinders, Three Little Pigs, Goldilocks and the Three Bears, The Three Billy Goats Gruff, Half a Sixpence, The Wind in the Willows, the one that's on Broadway HD right now that I told you is on Broadway HD. We should watch it. That's they penned that.
Okay.
Okay. I just want to watch it because I love Mr. Toad, and that's the story of Mr. Toad. Becoming Nancy and Identical. And Identical is their current 2020 thing that they were working on, I think, prior to Rona. So they've done a lot of shit. Book writer Julian Fellows also wrote the books for School of Rock, Half a Sixpence, and The Wind in the Willows. Mary Poppins the Musical is based on the similarly titled Mary Poppins children's books by P.L. Travers and the 1964 Disney film, and is a fusion of various elements from the two, including songs from the film. So,
Yeah. I have some words.
So you.
So, yeah.
So this is you now.
Okay. So, Mary Poppins first appeared on the shelves in 1934 in P.L. Travers' 8-book series.
Okay.
Now, this character was inspired by Travers' real-life great-aunt Helen Moorhead. And so it was very personal to her. And in the 1940s, Walt Disney made his daughter a promise he would adapt her favorite book series, Mary Poppins, into a movie, even if it killed him, apparently, because it took him over 20 years to do this.
Okay. I feel like I knew that from that movie.
Yeah.
But I forgot.
She didn't want her story changed as the characters were very personal to her.
Right.
Mary Poppins was loosely based on her aunt. Mr. Banks was
It's
her
her
father who struggled with alcoholism, really tried the best he could, but it was a very personal story to her.
Sure.
So she finally relented in 1961, but not because she really wanted her book to be made into a movie, but because royalties from her book had started to dwindle in the 60s. And Walt Disney offered her $100,000, which by today's standards would be more than $800,000.
Yeah.
And then 5% of the movie's earnings,
Right.
which was multi-millions.
Box office earnings or overtime?
Just in gross earnings over time.
Oh my God.
Yes. So Disney also agreed to allow Mrs. Travers. She insisted on being called Mrs. Travers.
Okay.
She demanded to be a consultant on the film, so he agreed. But he gave her no editing rights. And she kind of was notorious for this very like no, no, no mantra. So when she finally watched the movie, she hated it and said, when are we going to start cutting it?
Wow.
And he said, we
already pressed it. It opens on Friday.
She insisted that all of the meetings be recorded. So like she was just a nightmare, apparently, just throughout this entire thing. So she hated penguins, dancing, singing songs, all this stuff. Yeah. But it was a very big success. And then she passed in 1996.
Jesus.
Yeah. So they just had to I assume they had to just wait until she died to make this. But yeah, I just thought that was very interesting. But I didn't want to take up too much time with that.
No. That's incredibly interesting. And you're right. It absolutely, it goes right into where we're going.
Yes.
So produced by Cameron McIntosh and Disney Theatrical Productions and directed by Richard Eyre with co-direction from Matthew Bourne, who also acted as co-choreographer with Stephen Meare. The original West End production opened December of 2004 and won 2 Olivier Awards. Are you okay over there?
Yeah, sorry. I thought
Are you having a stroke?
Yeah. I was like,
we've already endured an earthquake. If you have a stroke in the middle of an episode.
It was so weird. Sorry.
Okay. So, opened in December of 2004, won 2 Olivier Awards, one for Best Actress in a Musical.
Olivier Awards,
and the other Best Theater Choreography. Olivier Awards, 2004. A Broadway production with near identical creative team opened November of 2006, with only minor changes from the West End version. It received 7 Tony nominations, including Best Musical. The original Broadway production closed in March 2013 after 2,619 performances. Touring and international productions followed. Crazy. That's a lot of performances, man. 2,600. The musical has become a popular choice for schools and community theaters to produce, obviously. Okay, Genesis. 1993. Theatrical producer Cameron McIntosh met P.L. Travers and acquired the rights to develop a stage play adaptation of her Mary Poppins books.
Yes.
She only agreed to a stage production as long as the creators were all English. No one who had worked on the Disney film adaptation was allowed. She died in 1996, so subsequently in 2001, McIntosh and Thomas Schumacher, head of Disney Theatrical, opened talks on a possible collaboration.
They were like,
without
okay,
her
guys,
pulling the strings.
Now we can do it.
Yeah.
So you said it was when that they had approached her?
1993.
So they had to wait 3 years.
She died 3 years later, and then 5 years later, he approaches Thomas Schumacher.
Wow.
And so the whole idea behind approaching Disney directly was that so that the stage play would be able to use the songs from the film.
Yeah, obviously.
Okay, obviously.
And they should use more.
With both sides committed, a preliminary outline of the show was written in 2002. Around this time, songwriters George Stiles and Anthony Drew heard about the project and independently wrote a demo version of a new introductory song for the character of Mary entitled Practically Perfect. The song is fantastic. Mm-hmm. They submitted the song to McIntosh and due to his positive response, were officially brought on the creative team. Julian Fellows was brought on to write the show's script because of his clear understanding of the social niceties of an English class system that prevailed in the Edwardian era. Okay. How sneakster were these two, though, to write the song Practically Perfect as their demo and to get this job? Like, it is, like, they combed through that film and, like, this is where a song needs to be. This is her introduction, right? She just walked into the nursery. She measures up the kids. She measures herself, and the freaking tape measure says Practically Perfect in every way. Like, this was real calculated and real freaking smart. These dudes are entrepreneurs. An experienced production team was assembled, including Sir Richard Eyre, multi-award-winning director of film, theater, and opera, and Bob Crowley, a theater designer who has worked with the Royal Shakespearean Company, the National Theatre, the Royal Ballet, and the Royal Opera. Word, Crowley also, no big deal, has 6 Tony Awards for various Broadway productions: Carousel, Aida, Once, An American in Paris, The History of Boys, and The Coast of Utopia, all for scenic design. 2 of them are plays. That's why you haven't heard of it.
Who doesn't have 6
Right.
Tonys?
Who doesn't have 6 Tonys? Right. Yeah. A workshop of the show was held at the end of 2003 at the rehearsal room at London's Old Vic Theatre, using the cast of My Fair Lady, which had just closed on West End. After 4 weeks of rehearsals at Sadler's Wells, the production moved to Bristol, where an out-of-town tryout opened at the Bristol Hippodrome on September 15th of 2004. Okay? So official West End. Cameron Mackintosh's stage adaptation of Mary Poppins had its world premiere at the Bristol Hippodrome, starting with preview September 15 of 2004 and opening September 18 for a limited engagement until November 6th. The production then moved to the Prince Edward Theatre on December 15th of 2004, making it the only Disney musical to have ever premiered in the United Kingdom. How cool is that? And also, how freaking appropriate is that?
Yeah.
Right? Like, super.
For sure.
The role of Mary was played by Laura Michelle Kelly, who subsequently won the 2005 Olivier Award for Best Actress in a Musical. The show sparked mild controversy not long after its debut, when producers Cameron Mackintosh and Thomas Schumacher banned children below 3 years old from entering the theater. Why isn't this a thing? How rad is that? Who wants to go to a show and hear kids crying?
I mean, I agree with you.
Yeah.
I feel that same way about movie theaters.
Yeah, this should be a new rule. This should be a new rule. So, but they stuck by it. So they deemed the show to be too scary for young children. The ban remained throughout the show's entire run.
You said what was the age gap?
They said banned children below 3 years old. But get this. So the ban remained throughout the show's entire run, during which the theater staff were to prevent patrons with children below 3 to enter. The show was officially tagged as being suitable for children 7 years and up.
That's perfect.
Perfect.
You know,
like, what's the point, dude?
You're not
going to remember. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
what's the friggin' point other than to just piss people
My
off?
first musical, I was 7. We went to go see The Lion King.
Okay.
So,
So on
makes
March
sense to me.
17th, 2005, Julie Andrews, who played Mary Poppins in the film, ever heard of her? Visited the show as a guest. She appeared on stage during the curtain call, and she gave a speech recalling her own memories from making the film and praising the cast for their new interpretation. The production closed January 12, 2008, after a run of more than 3 years. Broadway. Here we go. Following the success of the West End production, a Broadway production debuted November 16, 2006 at the New Amsterdam Theatre after previews from October 14th. Ashley Brown played the title role, and Gavin Lee, who had originated the role of Bert in the West End production, reprised his role on Broadway. Laura Michelle Kelly, who originated the role of Mary in London, took over the role on Broadway October 12th of 2009. Christian Borle joined the cast the very same day as Bert. Pretty cool. The Broadway production differed from the London production in that Jolly Holiday sequence was staged in full Technicolor instead of the gray tones of the London show. And Anything Can Happen, The Stairs to the Heavens, were replaced by a giant version of Mary's umbrella entering from the stage floor. These changes were later transferred back to West End. I kind of like the grayscale idea.
Yeah. The New York Times talked about that. I didn't say it.
Okay.
But it's interesting. I'm remembering off the top of my head.
But basically, because in the film it's animated, so like I think it's kind of.
He said if this was supposed to make it was to the effect of, if this is supposed to make it more like palatable for children, he's like, I think it makes it like less charming for adults or something like that. Like, he didn't like it.
Okay.
I didn't put that excerpt of his quote, but I'll have to look that up later.
Don't worry about it.
But he didn't like that at all. He thought it took like some of the like character that they had originally put in it. Like, he's like, this was like a very like English choice, and I feel like you just wanted to make it like this big floofy
that's a really good way of
for...
saying it. It does seem like an English choice.
Yeah. So
whatever. So the Broadway production received generally positive reviews, ranging from enthusiastic to lukewarm. Many critics praised the show for its technical merits. After running 52 weeks, the show recouped its original investment. I should have Googled what the original investment was, but I didn't. On July 16th of 11, the Broadway production became the 30th longest running show in Broadway history. Pretty cool. Production closed March 3rd of 2013 after more than 6 years and 2,619 performances on Broadway to make way for Disney's Aladdin, which I think is still open.
I believe so. Yeah. Disney
I never go
get
see it.
long runs,
My buddy Brian always is like, dude, go see Aladdin. And I'm like, dude, I can watch the movie when I get home. Because,
I do love the genie
I always
stuff.
want to see something new. And it's just, it feels like I can watch Aladdin when I go home.
I mean, what they've been doing with Disney stuff, probably is new.
You're right. It does. I know it's got like Brian has made me listen to this song.
The genie one?
No, there's a song called "Proud of Your Boy."
Oh,
it's very, very beautiful.
I love it.
It's very beautiful. And he's like, it's worth it just to hear that song. And so I'll see it eventually. It basically needs to be a trip where I run out of shows to see and I still have days in the city, and then I believe
Menken did write the additional songs,
of course.
too. So
yeah, probably.
It's not like you're going to hear songs
No, of
that
course.
you hate.
I'm not going to hear a bad song. Okay, national tours. I'm going to punch through this stuff, guys, because there's a lot. For the touring productions of the show, designer Bob Crowley changed the sets, making the Banks' household smaller in size and deleting numerous intermediate scenes so that the smaller theaters could accommodate the large-scale demands of the production. That's really cool.
Yeah.
A UK tour of the London production commenced on June 4th, 2008, and ended on April 18, 2009, with stops at venues including the Theatre Royal Plymouth Edinburgh Playhouse and Wales Millennium Centre in Cardiff. The United States tour began previews March 11 of 2009, with opening night on March 25th. The tour began at the Cadillac Palace Theater in Chicago and played many U.S. cities. On the November 15th of 2009, during the opening night in Los Angeles, Dick Van Dyke, who played Bert in the film, appeared on stage during the encore. On January 22nd, 2010, to raise funds for a local charity as part of the D23 event, Van Dyke did a cameo of his other role from the original film, Mr. Dawes Sr.,
The Banker.
The U.S. National Tour played its last performances on June 2nd, 2013 in Anchorage, Alaska. Dick Van Dyke also did another really, really rad thing. He showed up to your birthday.
He did. Can I say what it was?
Was it your
really
16th
quick.
birthday, your 18th birthday?
18th. So I had just moved here.
Mm-hmm.
I had been telling my grandparents forever that I wanted to meet Dick Van Dyke. It was the only person that I wanted to meet. And my grandparents live up in the canyon in Malibu. It's a neighboring canyon to the one that he lives in. So they have like mutual friends.
Okay.
And so she wrote him a letter because she's old school like that.
And he responded because he's old school like that.
Yeah. So she wrote this really awesome letter. I'll have to read it to you at some point. But she was essentially like, hey, I know this is super weird from an 18-year-old girl. You probably don't get this a whole lot. Yeah. She's like, but she just like has not stopped talking about how she wants to meet you for like her entire life. Yeah. And she's like, I really want to do something to surprise her. And, you know, she thanked him for all the magic that like, it was just a really beautiful letter.
Yeah.
And he called her.
That's so cool.
Yeah. When she saw Van Dyke Richard on the on the caller ID, she was like, oh my God.
Excuse me?
So he answers and he goes, hey, we have to, because I've never like read a letter like that. Yeah. And so
cool.
They tricked me. They told me they were getting me something at the surf shop next to this restaurant. And my grandma walked me in and she's like, oh, it's not ready yet. Like, let's go next door and get something to eat. So they walked me into the restaurant and he's sitting at the booth and he gets up and he goes, hey, Allie, it's your birthday. And in that moment, I was like, I didn't know what my birthday was. Right. I go, is today your birthday? It wasn't. It was like 2 days past. Okay. So I was like, yeah, well, I mean, like 2 days ago.
Get it right.
And I was like, I just love you.
That's super cool.
No,
so you have some rad pictures with him, and he brought you some swag.
He gave me some. He gave me the. Was it the 60th anniversary?
I don't know.
50th anniversary, something of Mary Poppins. Okay. And he signed it.
Like the DVD.
Yeah. He gave me his memoir. Dope. He signed that, and then he gave me his acapella CD, which I have. I can listen to it. It's Dick Van Dyke and the Fantastics.
He sings an acapella bit in Scrubs. He I think he's in 2 episodes of Scrubs. If he's obviously he's in at least 1. I want to say he was recurring. I think he came back for a 2nd episode, and as his entrance, he like sings "Hello, My Baby" with like Janitor and like some other. Yeah,
it's really cute. But his acapella group is the Fantastics.
Oh, that's amazing.
And it's like put on a happy face.
Oh, of course.
Like Chitty Chitty Bang Bang.
Yeah.
It's just incredible.
Oh,
and he
that's
signed that
precious.
as well. So
What a treasure.
Yeah.
Okay. A new UK tour directed by Richard Eyre began a run at the Curve Theatre, Leicester, from October 13th to October 25th of 15. The tour then visited Bristol, October to November of 15, Dublin, December to January of 15-16, Manchester, January to March of 16, Birmingham, March, April 16, Edinburgh, April, May 16, Southampton, May, June 16. Extension dates were added, including Norwich, June, July 16, Plymouth, August, September 16, Newcastle, September, October 16, Bradford, November, December 16, and finishing in Cardiff, December 16 to January 17. That's a big tour. That was a freaking year plus. West End Revival 2019. September of 18, recent. It was announced that a West End revival would open in autumn of 19, returning to the Prince Edward Theatre 11 years after the original production had closed. The revival opened on October 23rd, 19 in previews, officially on November 13th. The show was forced to close temporarily as of March 16, 2020, on account of Miss Rona. Yeah. It was announced in June of 2020 that it would not reopen until 2021. We'll see about that because Miss Rona's still here. And 2021 is like not looking that weeks promising. Away.
Okay.
International productions. This is just, I'm going to rattle these off. Mary Poppins the Musical has played Australia, Austria, Canada, Czech Republic, Denmark, Estonia, Finland, Germany, Hungary, Iceland, Ireland, Italy, Japan, Mexico, Netherlands, New Zealand, Norway, Sweden, Switzerland, United Arab Emirates, United Kingdom, United States, been translated into 13 languages, including Swedish, Finnish, Hungarian, Danish, Dutch, Czech, Estonian, Spanish, Icelandic, German, Norwegian, Italian, and Japanese. Over 11 million people have seen the show worldwide. That's some epic shit, right? Yeah. And I know how much you like to find out what Spanish translations are, I did the research.
Thank you.
And it is called Mary Poppins. How lame!
I wanted it to
Not
be
even
called,
like Maria Poppins? Maria Popina? I would call it Maria. If I directed that shit in Mexico City, Maria Popina, for sure.
What would be like British nanny?
A word for British nanny? I have no idea.
You don't know what that would be? Like English nanny?
See, that's the way that actual titles get translated.
Yeah, that's why.
You know what I mean? It would be like Maria la, like, you know, like Mary the nanny. You're absolutely.
What's the word for nanny or like au pair or like something?
I don't know a word for au pair. I don't know if au pair translates.
Like nanny? You guys don't have a word for nanny?
No, man. Brown people take care of their own kids. They don't fucking use nannies.
Yeah, they don't talk about how like weird white people are for using them.
No, like I hate to be this real, but brown people raise their own kids.
I know, it's just weird that there's like no word for like.
I'm sure there's a word.
You.
I'm it's completely
Tutor,
off my radar
maybe?
Because I've never had to use it.
Like tutor, like
that would be a different word. Yeah. I mean, I could, you know, if you want me to follow up on it, I can try. But I look deep, and the title is Mary Poppins.
Well, it's because it's a name.
When I do it, Maria Popina. All right, just so you know, or at least Maria Poppins. The first foreign language production opened October 2008 at the Gothenburg Opera House, where it ran until March of 2009. This production was externally licensed by Disney Theatrical and performed entirely in Swedish, with the book translated by Magnus Lindman. That's pretty much it on tours, but there are two interesting notes from tours. From April 2010 to August 2011, a Dutch language production ran at the Fortis Circus Theater in The Hague. Noortje Herlaar, the actress who played the role of Mary, was found on the TV show Op Zoek naar Mary Poppins. Remember last time when it was Yo quiero ser la protagonista de Hairspray? So that's not.
Isn't it like which the search for the protagonist of
Hairspray? Yeah. I want to be Hairspray's protagonist. That's what that one was.
So fantastic.
That is so fantastic. I wonder who did it first. I wonder who had the idea of like, let's make an American Idol for finding our star.
They did that for Elle Woods too.
They did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Search for the next Elle Woods.
And that was an MTV show.
Yeah, it was.
That's kind of cool. Mm-hmm. It's a good idea. I like it. I support it. And another side funny note, October 2012, Stage Entertainment announced that Mary Poppins would open in Paris for their 2013-2014 season. Yeah. But after months of unsuccessful searching for an actress to play the role of Mary, Cameron McIntosh decided to cancel the project. How are you not going to find a Mary There's not one talented freaking singer in Paris? How crazy is that?
I don't get it.
You mentioned production costs of like starting a production and then be like, oh, we couldn't find anybody. Sorry. Drag. Like,
sorry you suck so bad, Paris.
Yeah.
But just like fly someone out there or something.
Right?
Yeah. Well.
Who the hell's not going to be like, oh, do you want to play Mary Poppins? Yeah. Here's the rub though. We got to fly you to Paris and put you up in a hotel.
I know it sucks. No one wants to do. Or you have to look at this eyesore of the Eiffel Tower.
What the shit, man? Okay, so I have. Do you want me to do before you do characters? Do you want me to do differences from film that came from the books?
Yeah, sure. That would be great.
Okay. It should be noted that the stage musical is not a direct adaptation of the Disney film.
You're sure fucking right about that.
Features elements from the film and original books plus original updated elements. Okay. The dancing penguins in Jolly Holiday sequence and the tea party on the ceiling at Uncle Albert's, likely due to the inability to make things float on stage, have been removed.
That is bullshit. And you know why? Because they did.
I mean, but a table and like multiple...
Glue everything to the table and put it on wires.
Okay. Although some community theaters... Some community theaters dress their chorus as penguins for Jolly Holiday, and that's really cute.
We saw one. We watched the
we saw the Tuacahn production. Tuacahn was one of the first regional productions, which I saw it at Tuacahn, and then we watched the YouTube of Tuacahn. They paid extra to get it while it was still. I don't remember if it was
touring?
No, on Broadway or maybe touring. One of the two. It still had a major presence. I think it was Broadway. I think it was still on Broadway.
You could do that? I didn't know you could do that.
Well, they normally they don't. Normally they don't, but they decided that they were going to do it. The production, the rights holders decided they were going to release the rights, and so people paid extra to have it like early.
Really?
Yeah. And I'll talk about the Tuacahn production. But blah, 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 blah. Where was I? Penguins?
Yes.
The musical places more emphasis on Jane and Michael being naughty and their parents being dysfunctional to heighten the drama. We don't like this, but we'll get into that. Let's just get into it now. Okay. I just remember the kids being total dicks.
Yeah, they are.
Right? And I was thinking to myself, like, Mary Poppins needs to slap the shit out of these kids. And also, it just didn't work for me because in Edwardian times, kids that were that level of dicks speaking to their father like that would have been spitting out teeth. Like, there's no, like, it's not 2020 where you can be a dick to your parents and, like, because your parents are scared that, like, somebody's going to report them. He would have been like, what did you say? 5 across the eyes. Splop. Right?
Like my even bigger deal with this, like, I'll go into it in a minute. Let's break down characters.
So, no, I still have more.
Okay.
So Miss Andrew, a character from the books, makes an appearance in the musical as the polar opposite of Mary Poppins, advocating brimstone and treacle instead of a spoonful of sugar. Winifred Banks is no longer the suffragette of the film. Allie has major qualms.
I do.
But a former actress who is struggling to fulfill her husband's expectations of her. We didn't like that. We didn't like that.
So stupid.
The character of Ellen, the maid in the film, was cut entirely.
Yep.
A new character, Miss Smythe, was created to introduce the bank chairman. Admiral Boom does not blow his cannon, making the house shake like he does in the film. That kind of sucks because I feel like that could be easily done on Broadway, and it's charming. The bank's chairman's father does not make an appearance like in the film, nor does Mr. Binnacle, Admiral Boom's assistant. New characters were developed to create a new conflict at the bank. Blah blah blah. Number of musical sequences have been modified from their purpose in the film. We don't need to talk about these. Are songs that are moved.
Okay.
That we don't need to talk about.
We can talk about it during the break.
So good. I move to you.
Okay. So let's talk about characters.
Yep.
All right. These were taken from MTI, by the way.
Okay.
So Mary Poppins, practically perfect nanny. Jane and Michael Banks' new nanny, after a long list of them. She's extraordinary, strange, neat and tidy, delightfully vain yet particular, and sometimes a little frightening but always exciting. She is practically perfect in every way and always means what she says. A mezzo-soprano with strong top notes, should be able to move well. She can have a more traditional soprano sound, but precision in diction is key.
I wrote down the exact same things.
Yes.
Do you like how they... Okay, first of all, female, age 20 to 20.
You saw that too? It's like they didn't change some of them.
But...
20 to 20.
You should be between 20 and 20. And you should
20
be
and a month and 20 and 11 months, preferably.
Right. And also, like, I mean, obviously, I know it's for stage, but like, Julie Andrews didn't read as 20 to me.
She was like 29, I think.
Okay.
To me, if I were to place Mary Poppins, I would say 25 to 35.
I would say 25. At the bottom end.
To 35.
Because first, like a 20-year-old to possess the vocal training that you want for that role.
And to look
I'm not saying it's
older
impossible.
than the kids
I'm not saying it's impossible, but like, I think that command comes like in your early to mid-20s.
But older than the kids enough too, and like command enough of a presence to stand up against two obvious adults that are supposed to. Anyway,
agreed. Go ahead.
Okay, Bert. The narrator of the story is a good friend to Mary Poppins. An everyman, Bert has many occupations, including hurdy-gurdy player, sidewalk artist, and chimney sweep.
Yep.
Bert watches over the children as well as the goings-on on Cherry Tree Lane. He has charm, speaks with a Cockney accent, and is a song and dance man.
Yep.
Male, age 30 to 35.
Yep.
Okay. George Banks, the father to Jane and Michael Banks, is a banker to the very fiber of his being. Demanding precision and order in his household, he's a pipe and slippers man who doesn't have much to do with his children and believes that he has the perfect upbringing by his nanny, the cruel Miss Andrew. His emotional armor, however, conceals a sensitive soul. A baritone, George may sing as necessary.
We don't like speak singing.
No. Age 40 to 45.
Yep. Who, in the movie, how old does that man read to you in the movie?
50.
I would say 58.
I don't think he's that old.
I do.
I think part of it's the hairdo and because he wasn't.
No?
No.
He reads old to me, man. Like to have like a freaking 7-year-old kid.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
Winifred Banks, George's wife and Jane and Michael's mother, a former actress. She is a loving and distracted homemaker who is busy trying to live up to her husband's desire only to associate with the best people, as well as be the model wife and mother. She suffers from conflicting feelings that she's not up to the job of being Mrs. Banks, yet she is, and more. She has great warmth and simplicity to her tone.
Yep.
Female, age 30 to 35.
Yep.
Jane, the high-spirited daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Banks, is bright and precocious, but can be willful and inclined to snobbishness. Snobbish. Age 11 to 12.
Yep.
Michael, the cute and cheeky son of Mr. and Mrs. Banks, excitable and naughty, he adores his father and tries to be like him. Both he and Jane misbehave in order to get the attention of their parents. Age 9 to 10.
Yep.
Katie Nana, Jane and Michael's nanny at the beginning of the show, overwhelmed and upset. She has absolutely had her fill of the Banks children. Age 30 to 30, apparently.
30 to 30, yeah.
You could be any range of 30.
Yeah.
Policeman, a neighborhood fixture who is respected by and observant of households on his block. Age 30 to 40.
He's the one that like keeps finding them when they run away.
Yes.
Yeah.
Miss Lark, the haughty next door neighbor. So Miss Lark was in the movie. I do have to preface this by saying it was Miss Lark. They changed the name of her dog from Andrew to Willoughby for whatever reason.
Because Willoughby sounds more limey.
Whatever.
Andrew? No. Willoughby, that's limey, dude.
The haughty next door neighbor of the Banks family who treats her dog Willoughby as if it were her child. Age 30 to 35. Okay. Which, to me, older. For sure.
Yep.
Yeah. Admiral Boom, a retired Royal Navy man and neighbor of the Banks family, a physically large man with a loud and booming voice. He speaks in Navy jargon and has a soft spot for his neighbor, Miss Lark. Can be any vocal range as needed. If Admiral Boom doubles as the Banks chairman, he could be a baritone, apparently. Age 50 to 50.
Okay. Yep.
I'm assuming that means 50 is...
It's so funny. I'm glad you caught that, too.
No, I kept them because I thought it was hilarious.
Yeah, it's exactly the reason I kept them.
Mrs. Brill, the housekeeper and cook for the Banks family, overworked and harassed. She's always complaining that the house is understaffed. Her intimidating exterior is a cover for the warmth underneath. Mrs. Brill doesn't have a high opinion of nannies in general, and Mary Poppins in particular. She does not have to be a strong singer. Age 50 to 50.
Yeah.
Which, to me, I think it's better if she's like 60, 50, 60.
Yep, agreed.
Robertson A. The houseboy to the Banks family, lazy, sleepy, and grumbling. He never gets things right and believes himself to be useless. He doesn't do a lot of singing, but his spoonful solo could be a fun surprise. Age 20 to 20.
This is the one where we were like, who the fuck is this guy?
Is this?
They don't introduce him.
No, they took out Ellen. So Ellen
But he's just there.
No, it's so dumb.
Like the kitchen scene, you're like, they're just starting to talk to him.
They knock him out.
And we're just like, who the fuck is this guy?
Yeah, it's so weird. Park keeper, uniformed and officious, he makes sure no one breaks park regulations. His life is defined by rules, but he secretly hankers after his childhood. Male, age 40 to 40.
40 to 40.
Um,
Nelius.
Yes, it did on a different page. Nelius, The statue of a young boy posed with a dolphin in the park. Nilus was separated from his father Poseidon and misses him very much. A small and lonely being, he is very happy to befriend Jane and Michael. This role is a wonderful opportunity to feature one of the strong dancers in your ensemble, age 16 to 16.
Oh, okay, 16 to 16. Yeah. I know who I'm going to cast.
I think he was older, and for sure.
In the Tuacahn production, for sure. Yeah.
Queen Victoria, a statue in the park.
Awesome.
Great.
Female age 40 to 40.
Bank chairman. The head of the bank where Mr. Banks is employed is an Edwardian stuffed shirt. He can sing his lines if necessary. Age 50 to 60. Miss Smythe, the bank chairman's humorless secretary, which is who they cut Ellen, put her basically in here.
Yeah.
Age 40 to 40. We have Von Hustler, a businessman seeking a loan from the bank for a shady business deal. So he's the upper class one.
Yep.
He speaks with a German accent, which we didn't hear.
He did not.
But his name is Von Hustler, so I'm assuming
he's
he
Deutsch.
was originally,
Yep.
yes. Age 30 to 30.
Yep.
John Northbrook, an honest businessman seeking a loan to build a factory for his community. So he's a family man looking. He speaks with an accent from northern England. Age 30 to 30. Birdwoman, covered in a patchwork of old shawls, and her pockets are stuffed with bags of crumbs for the birds. She tries to sell her crumbs to the birds.
For the birds.
To them.
Hey, bird. Hey, bird. You got tuppence?
Buy my bag. She's just way far gone, guys. She tries to sell her crumbs to the passerby who ignore her as if she doesn't exist. Sings Feed the Birds. There can be a gruff, folksy quality to her voice that reflects the hardness of her life. Age 50 to 50. I disagree. I think it should be older.
Yeah, I think 60.
Mrs. Corey owns a magical gingerbread shop. She's a mysterious woman of great age who speaks with a Caribbean accent. That's the one from the park. Age 40 to 40.
Yeah.
Miss Andrew, George's overbearing and scary nanny with her bottle of nasty-tasting brimstone and treacle to keep naughty children in line. She is a bully who only knows one way of doing things, her way. A soprano with an alto belt and apparently an opera note.
Yeah.
There can be some heaviness to her voice along with range. And then we also have general ensemble: Annie, Fanny, Valentine, Teddy Bear, Mr. Punch, Doll, Chimney Sweeps, Toys, Park Goers.
I feel like she had some coloratura, didn't she?
She did. I don't know if that was production specific or
maybe they just had a coloratura singer and they were like, let's add.
Because vocal range to top is an F. What's an F5?
I don't know girl stuff.
Excuse me. What's an F5?
I don't know girl stuff. I just know that she sang. I was like, God damn, she had a big note.
Alto belt.
Yeah,
okay.
It was. Yeah,
sure.
Okay, song breakdown. I apologize. It is almost 3 pages.
This is
but some of them just repeat. Okay, so like prologue, chimchurri. Okay, chimchurri. Okay, so it sounds like it could develop into an overture, but it's not an overture. All it does is it introduces us to the chimchurri theme before we see Bertrand come out, right? So we meet Bert as the narrator to a familiar, memorable tune because we know it and we love it, right? And I like it. It was a nice prologue. Cherry Tree Lane. This is the part of the movie that you told me where like Bert is like breaks the fourth wall and like walks us to the house. It's kind of that part where we're meeting the family, right?
Here's what's cool about what Bert did at first, as opposed to, so before you start talking about the first song, when they start singing Cherry Tree Lane, the entire family I saw was like in the park or something. Like you immediately meet the entire family.
No, they were in the house. Crazy.
It was weird. It's like then they brought up that it's like there's all these people passing, and then the family comes up through the floor, and the family comes up through the floor,
and the house. Oh, I see what you're saying.
You see what I mean? It's like it was very weird. I'm not saying I didn't understand that they were in the house. I'm saying it was weird because you were in the park.
Well, it certainly wasn't freaking Amelie where Here Comes My Apartment. It was not like that.
That's so hilarious.
But it was.
But the thing that I liked about the movie opening was that it
establishes him as a narrator immediately.
And it also establishes him as a staple to the neighborhood.
Yeah. He knows everyone.
Yes.
As he walks, he's like, hey, dude, what's up? Like, hey, Cherry Tree Lane? We'll go there.
He's around in a park, so he's like, they're all like, what about me? And he starts singing a tune about them to Chim Chimmery. So it's just like really charming, and he's like doing his street performing, and then he's like, oh, hey, what are you doing here? Let's walk, which I think could have translated just fine. So this was really unclear to me because all of a sudden the family comes out of the floor. Very weird. I also like the fact that they set up the fact that the kids were missing and the cop shows up and brings them home, which is not what they did.
That's not what they did. But yeah. Okay, so here I go. Inside the Banks home, the nanny is quitting, right? Yeah. Leaving Mrs. Banks worried that they will never find another nanny because they've been combing through them, right? Mr. Banks introduces his primary concern of precision and order in his household. He feels that a nanny should be stern and iron-fisted, as his was. The song sounds as if it were written to sound like an older musical. They did this on purpose. They wanted to like kind of date it to sound like the old stuff.
They already did.
But it's noticeably not the same stylistically, right? We can just tell. Everything that I even wrote it down. I was going to say this as an extemporaneous thought, but I wrote it down. The Sherman Brothers songs sounded super My Fair Lady to me, and I said that to you at least 4 times while we watched the movie. I'm like, this sounds like My Fair Lady, which makes sense because it was the exact same era.
We're talking about that song, The Life I Lead, by the way. I think it's called The Life I Lead.
Well, the song that Mr. Banks sang, the first one, the second one, and then I can remember another song, I believe in Act 2, that was just, I was like, this is fucking My Fair Lady. Like, I can hear this song.
It was the same song. They brought it back in Act 2, but it was a different words.
So, The Perfect Nanny. Jane and Michael sing this song. This song is from the movie, and it's precious. This is the kids writing their own advertisement for the nanny that they are seeking. Pops is a total turd, and he rips it up and throws it in the fireplace.
Same thing.
Same thing, right? Yeah. Cherry Tree Lane Part 2. Mr. Banks prepares to leave for work after sending the children to their rooms, again demanding precision and order. Mary Poppins arrives and immediately takes command of the household. Okay, so again, I saw this at Tuacahn, which is in St. George, Utah. It's an outdoor theater. It's gorgeous. It is built on the side of a huge ravine. Okay, so it's, number one, it's just a beautiful setting. You're surrounded by red rocks. You've got, like, the shows typically start at dusk. They put on incredible productions. They have an insane amount of money. And they typically cast from Southern California, Nevada area, and then they house you. And they usually put 3 to 4 productions up at the same time for their season. So if you're versatile, they'll put you in 2 productions. They'll put you in 3 productions, and the shows. So like on Monday it would be Mary Poppins, and tomorrow it would be, I think the season that I saw Mary Poppins, I want to say it was also Peter Pan, Mary Poppins. I meant to pull out my playbill. I don't remember what the third one was. But whatever. I normally go, I stay, and I'll see 3 shows.
Didn't you say Starlight Express was playing when you were there?
Starlight Express was playing that season, but it hadn't opened yet, so I didn't see it.
Would you have seen it?
Of course. I see everything. When I go, I see every show. So, like, the show changes every night.
Yeah.
So, like, it's Little Mermaid tonight, tomorrow it's Sound of Music, and the next day it's Millie. You know what I mean? It's really cool. So there's nothing to do there. I'm a big fan of this, guys. Look it up. If you're in this area, if you're in Southern California, Nevada, Arizona area, it's in St. George, Utah. It's about an hour and a half maybe past Las Vegas on the 15. There is nothing to do, so pack your trunk with a lot of booze. We normally we take, board games, decks of cards. We stay in a nice resort. You're poolside all day, eating, drinking, and then you go see a show. Mm-hmm. And then you come back and you eat and drink and watch a movie and play Uno, and then you do it again the next day.
Yeah.
And again the day after that. It is fantastic. They put on exquisite shows because it's outside. They have capacity to do things that you've never seen on a stage in a musical. So put it this way, I saw the Prince of Egypt there. It rained fire on the stage. The plague of the raining fire it rained fire on the stage. Fire just fell from the sky. And then they parted the Red Sea. I mean, like, it's really, really exquisite stuff that they put on there. So I'm a big fan. I go every season. I'm so sad this season got shut down from Rona because they were putting on Annie. They were putting on Annie, Smokey Joe's Cafe, Count of Monte Cristo. The new Wildhorn was gonna preview there. So I was like excited to see it before. Yeah. So when it does come back, girl, like, it's on our list. We will be there. So all of that to say, when she flew in at Tuacahn, they flew her in from the ravine that it's set on, the stage. So she flew in from the ravine to the proscenium, just that iconic, right? Mm-hmm. Holding her umbrella, the iconic shape of the dress. You could see her flying. I'm not kidding. 40 to 50 yards. And so they flew her from that point to the edge of the proscenium.
How high in the air do you think she is?
High. high, because the ravine is higher. So while she's flying, she's kind of flying down. You know what I mean?
I'd crap myself.
And then she hits the proscenium, and then she descended from the proscenium to stage left. It was one of the coolest things I've ever seen in a live musical, like in my life. My jaw was on the ground. I couldn't believe they were doing it. And I didn't know the show. Had I known the show, I would have probably been paying attention, like, okay, this is the moment Mary comes. Pay attention, like, where is she coming from? And I didn't. So I saw her. It had already started. The process had already started when I noticed. You know what I mean? But it was so freaking cool. All of that to say. Moving on, Practically Perfect. New song. I think it fits super well. I love the song. Mary gets to know the Banks children as she unpacks and tidies up the nursery, right? The iconic movie moments are there. Measuring the children, unpacking the large items from her satchel that like shouldn't fit in her satchel. They're there and they're put to good use. I find the song to be iconic despite being one of the new compositions. I remember this song.
I like this song.
It's really good.
I keep yawning, sorry.
Chim Chim Cherie, All Me Own Work, okay? Scene changes to the park. We find Bert singing the memorable movie melody as he paints outside the park gates. Mary and the children arrive and greet Bert. The kids are rude to Bert as they see him as dirty and stinky. Mary teaches them not to judge based on appearance. There is a clever use of the trap door to create the illusion of the children jumping into the painting. You remember? They stand the painting in front of the trap door and the kids like walk and just like disappear behind it. And that's how they jump into the painting. Jolly Holiday. Bert sings the iconic melody as the children run around and interact with the park statues that Mary has brought to life. Mary and Bert have their iconic park lunch, right, on the little picnic table where they're getting like served by the penguins and stuff. And then they join the dance ensemble for a full-blown dance number. One ensemble member is in a penguin suit, and that's an adorable homage to the flick, right? Like, really cute. Cherry Tree Lane reprise. I told you, everything reprises, man. George expresses that Poppins has a lot to learn to be a proper nanny. A proper nanny. Quick tune to further the story. It's not really memorable. It's whatever. Being Mrs. Banks. Winifred sings of her loss of identity in the role of wife that George wants her to play. The song is nice, but we kind of prefer her as a suffragette.
I don't think the song is nice.
I think the song is nice. Melodically, the song is nice.
Fine.
But
here's why I'm bitter.
Yeah, tell me.
So, like, legitimately, ever since I was little, I've always thought Mrs. Banks was so cool because we don't typically see this, like, unabashed feminism in movies from the 60s.
Yeah.
And not in musicals around that time, especially. So I always thought it was super cool how she comes in, she talks about how her and all of her friends are going to go throw things at the prime minister and like start a riot. And it was just like so fun. And the fact that Mr. Banks was so caught up in his work that he couldn't bother to care that his wife was, he's just like, you do you, whatever, totally, look how great my family is, great. And I hate the fact that they stripped her of her independence and her feminism, and they made her this broken, what if I can't be what my husband wants lady.
Yeah. She has no gumption.
No, zero.
Yeah.
And arguably the coolest thing about her, that she was an actress, she's not anymore, and she's letting her husband make her feel bad for being one. So I hate it.
Yeah.
And fuck him.
Yeah.
And I'm so like why George Banks was already so aloof that you were already like, oh, you got to get over this. You didn't need to make him a chauvinist too.
Yeah.
Like, why? You have to make him a dick?
I feel like that element of the story more aligns with the reality of the time, but I don't like it though.
But like this already, what I find like funny is that like normally I think it's totally great to align with the time, but we're talking about a magical nanny. So yeah. So just make the whole thing magical and funny and nonsensical. Yeah. You know, and I feel like that's what the original movie did so well, and you could have easily added Practically Perfect and new songs and everything without disturbing what this was. The other thing I didn't like that you've already mentioned, so I wanted to touch on it, was the fact that what I also liked is the fact that in the movie, Jane and Michael would drive nannies crazy because they were so... They just didn't like that the nannies were mean to them.
Right.
They were like, well, like, hey, we won't give you cause to hate us as long as you're like nice to us.
Yeah.
But you're rude, so we're just gonna run away. Like,
yeah,
sorry.
they're not dicks.
They're not dicks. They're just poor
just
kids who
they're
like
just kids.
want to spend time with their parents, but they keep
But they're
getting
dicks
put with
in the
nannies.
musical.
Yeah,
they're dicks. Like,
screw those kids. In
like
the
there's
musical.
a moment. Remember, there was a moment where I'm like, dude, she's Veruca Salt right now.
Dude.
She was literally like, I want it now, and I'm like, ew.
I literally want to punt them for an extra point when I'm watching it.
Yeah, same.
Like, so that's another thing that I feel like we didn't need. And the fact that they started judging Bert right off the bat. What I liked about Jane and Michael in the movie was, despite their social standing, that never ever got to them. So the minute that they meet Bert, they just think he's like this wonderful, like funny.
Yeah.
Because he is.
Yeah, he is. He's charming.
So
and
fuck you too.
Yeah.
And so I just don't get why we're adding all of these layers of let's make them more terrible.
Here's the thing. If this would have manifested as an organic thing, I don't mean to say this before we finish, but we would have been completely fine with it.
Yes.
I was completely fine with this musical when I saw it at Tuacahn because I hadn't seen this since I was a kid.
Right.
So I was basically watching it with fresh eyes.
And I came at it the exact opposite. I'd never seen the musical, only the movie.
Right. And so then you made me watch the movie before we rewatched the musical, and the movie is a masterpiece.
Yes.
And if you're making that into a musical, why the fuck would you change it? That's the thing. Like, you have a masterpiece. I get it. Like, okay, write a couple new songs, insert them, and I'm gonna get to the songs that could be, whatever.
But
yeah, we're gonna embellish on this. We're gonna
like the suffragette song is one of my like favorites.
Yeah.
Cast off the shackles of yesterday. It's like my favorite, and she's so like funny and like.
She's more charismatic. She's way more memorable. She's more lovable.
I think it's so funny how things keep happening right under the Banks' nose, and they're too caught up in their own
they're
situations
just completely oblivious
notice.
to. Yeah.
So, like, at the beginning, when Katie Nana is about to leave, she's so pissed. Mrs. Banks is like, oh, Katie Nana, like, wear this sash.
yeah.
March with us. And then she's like, what do you mean? This is out
quitting.
of nowhere. And then Mr. Banks opens up the door, and he's like,
walks her right out.
What
like
a lovely hat.
Walks her right into a cab, right? Like,
oh, what a lovely hat you have. Very pretty. Shuts the door, leaves. And then he's like, where are the kids? After I sang this whole entire song about how great my life is. That's the fundamental problem, and that's enough. Is what I'm saying.
Okay. And we should preface that we sound like we're condemning this, and we're kind of not.
We're not.
It's not
I
bad.
have to say, it's not an Amelie situation.
It's not bad.
It's not a little princess situation.
It's just that the other one is flawless.
Yeah.
And it's how do you justify to, the powers that be changing something that's flawless?
Especially, here's the thing.
When you're already flirting, you already have Disney in your pocket.
That's
you
my
don't
thing.
You don't need to change.
That's the thing that's a tinge bit unforgivable to me.
Yeah.
Is the fact that
you're doing this with their blessing.
I would understand if they went the PL Travers route where she was like, yeah, you do this.
I'm only giving you 40% of the music.
They did a Mary Poppins musical, completely independent of the storyline, completely independent of the songs. If this was a new creation, I might be more apt to look at it a certain way, but you are branding this as Disney's Mary Poppins on Broadway.
Right.
And it's not.
And you have their blessing.
It's not, though.
It's a different story.
It's a different story.
So.
Which is weird.
It's weird.
For Disney musicals.
Yeah.
Like, they're not all hits, but they're not all, like, this is a swift depart. This is creating new character arcs. Yeah. I'm not even mad about, like, oh, we want to create, like, a male housekeeper kind of. Like, I don't care about all these small characters, but virtually nothing about all of the iconic parts of the show for me were the same. Yeah. When they go into the painting.
A little bit's the same, but not a lot of it.
I feel like with what they were doing, they still could have done like a horse race and like, you know what I mean? Like
that could have been hard.
It could have been hard, but it wasn't. Why statues?
Projected, maybe.
It's just
the statues because she brings them to life.
Sure.
So it shows us that it shows us the magic. It brings in this
weird element of Poseidon's son. It's just like
it didn't.
And it's not something I even noticed until you said it again too. So it was.
And the only reason I noticed was because she asks him. No, she doesn't ask him. Later, he tells.
Oh, you asked that question.
He's Poseidon's son, and then that's
so
the only reason I noticed.
I hate to.
Yeah, I know. Okay, well, I've got a lot more to go.
Yeah,
girl,
keep
so
going.
Here we go. Jolly Holiday reprise. Jane and Michael sing a quick Jolly Holiday reprise, hopeful that Mary Poppins will stick around. Okay. This and the prior 2 songs end simultaneously with each character singing their concerns. So the prior 2 songs, Cherry Tree Lane, which was George, being Mrs. Banks, which was Winnie, right? And Jolly Holiday, which is the 2 kids, they all culminate one cadence. For Winifred and the children, the cadence is Let's Hope She Will Stay. So there, the kids are Let's Hope Mary Poppins will stay. For Winifred, I don't know if she's also saying I hope Mary Poppins will stay, or if I don't know if she's singing about herself, her former self, that like the whole trouble of being Mrs. Banks. Open interpretation. Either way. For George, it's precision and order, and they all cadence together. Chim Chim Cheree, winds do change. Bert narrates and gives us scene change music as he speaks with Admiral Boom. We couldn't really see it because it was out of frame, but we know it was Admiral Boom because you can just tell.
Total underuse of that character.
Yeah. Yeah. But what are you going to do? You can't have him have a freaking sailboat on top of his house like when the Banks house takes up like, you know, a lot of stage.
No, but you could have just put him on a post.
Yeah.
And
you know what I think would have been really funny, honestly? Like a small boat. Like a small rowboat. Like he's so delusioned and he's just like, I'm still on a boat.
Yeah, like I'm saying it doesn't have to be like, but the funniest thing about him is that when you pass by, everyone's in on the whole let Admiral Boom think he's still, you know, captain of a ship. And he had a skipper that was like older than he was. Mm-hmm. And I loved the fact that he was like, things are stirring up at number 17. Bit of heavy weather.
I just think it was hilarious that they're like, oh shit, it's almost 4:30, and they like grab everything. The freaking piano, the piano shooting across the room, that's hilarious, dude.
Yeah.
Like that's... And
he played it. He's like, get this tune.
Get this thing tuned. You can't even play. Yeah, but yeah, so funny.
That's beside the point.
A spoonful of sugar. Okay, so they moved this song. But it makes sense. It's not, you can't be mad at it. So, because she sings a spoonful of sugar in the movie cleaning up the nursery, right?
That's her first song that she ever sings.
It's her first song.
And I like it there.
Yeah, I agree with you, but like, okay. So the children have made a mess of the kitchen before their mother's tea party. Mary Poppins and the children tidy up the kitchen in a magical way as they tidied up the nursery in the movie. So with the snaps and stuff and things magically. So it has a lot of great stage tricks as the table.
And there's a random passed out housekeeper on the side. The table,
the shelves, the kitchen items magically go back to where they were supposed to be with the snap of her fingers, right? Mary magically produces a cake to replace the one that dropped on the floor. That's super cool because so they're panicking. They're like, there's no cake, and she grabs an empty dish. And then, you know, the cake cover thing, and the cake is in the cover thing, but like, you know, the way you don't see it. You don't see it. She just grabs it and she's just like, oh, this problem? Boom. And cake manifests. It's a magical moment. I remember being like, well, that was really cool. So this moment for me is the Hello Dolly moment of the musical. Mm-hmm. This is the song that 4 days later I'm still whistling. Mm-hmm. Right?
Spoonful of sugar?
Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
100%. Yeah. Like you see this show and like 4 days later you're still like whistling this song.
Yes.
Okay. Precision and order. So they replaced the most boring song in the movie with the most boring song in the musical. Precision and order. So, but they took it out of place because this is the song that you're mentioning. This is Banks's song, the one that I thought sounded like My Fair Lady. But it's out of order because this remanifests as the Banks song later. And that's when it's really boring. But whatever, it's a nothing song for me. This is a throwaway. A man has dreams. Jane asks her father what he looks for in a bank opportunity, a good man or a good idea. It's a short tune. Mr. Banks listens to 2 business proposals and chooses to deny a loan to the seasoned businessman and extend a loan to the humble startup businessman on account that a good man is harder to find than a good idea. Right? Remember?
Sure.
Oh my God, I can't with you.
No, I did.
Feed the birds. Gorgeous.
Yes.
Like, obviously, this had to stay in. Like, if they would have cut this, we would have, like, set something on fire.
You know what I didn't like? Again, with the freaking asshole kids being put off by the bird woman when that's all Michael wanted to do in the movie because of his snow globe.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
That is so much more magical. I like the nice kids.
I told you, the kids being dicks, it does not play. I
hate it.
I want to punch them. But, okay. Michael calls her a horrible old woman, and Mary reminds the children to look past what they see. The song is now a duet with Birdwoman and Mary
Lost
Poppins.
cause, Mary Poppins leave.
Yeah. So we all know the melody. The song is timeless. I do want to point out what tuppence is because some people don't know what tuppence is. So tuppence is limey for 2 pence.
And how is it pronounced?
Okay, so I'll tell you how it's spelled. Tuppence. And tuppence, right? Yeah.
Tuppence.
Not tuppence.
They said tuppence all over the place in this production.
A lot of people do. But I've explained that to people before that were just like shocked. They were like, "What the hell is tuppence?" And I'm like, "It's 2 pence."
And it goes up to like 6 pence.
Well, in Sweeney Todd they say thruppence. Mrs. Lovett says thruppence. So I know that's a.
I don't know if it goes past.
So there's a 2 and a 3.
Does it go past the 6 pence?
I don't know what coins existed back then, but also I don't know if they had nicknames. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
Yeah. But that's what that is. Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. So, stopping at a sweet shop / conversation shop,
in
Mary
the middle
Poppins
of the park
introduces the children to a new word. The iconic song obviously had to be in the musical, but they squeezed this thing for every drop.
They also squeezed it in a really weird place because they knew they had to put it in the musical.
So the lyrics have been changed, and the ensemble
Everywhere.
does this really. The ensemble does this. They do the YMCA, dude. They do the YMCA to Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. So it is kind of
okay.
They like attempt to spell the word physically.
Yeah, I'm gonna explain what's different about this because we're at this part, right?
Okay.
So they had long since gone in the painting, way long since gone in the painting. Everything is out of order in this. Mm-hmm. So now Mary Poppins is like, we're going on an outing. We're going to a shop, and they're like, the park doesn't have a shop. And she's like, yeah, it does, bitch. And she makes it appear.
Yeah.
And there's a Caribbean woman.
It's a secret.
There's a Caribbean woman running. And then running the shop, not running in general. Yeah. She's running the shop. Yep. And so they go in the shop. And then Mary Poppins is like, why don't you pick out some letters to buy? Mm-hmm. Dumb. And then they're like,
I got these shitty letters.
SUPER. What
am I going to do with this? What am I going to do?
And then she's like, oh, we need a couple more. Michael, why don't you pick some out? And then it just so happens to be all the letters that make up Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious.
Right.
And so she's like, but they're like, this doesn't make a conversation. And she's like, yeah, it does.
Yeah.
No. In the movie, when they're in the painting, Mary Poppins, they all accidentally take place in a horse race with their carousel horses. Mm-hmm. And they say...
She politely asks someone if she can pass. She
goes, excuse me, gentlemen. May I come through? And they're like, oh, yeah, sure.
And she passes and wins the race.
She passes them. She wins the race. That's right. And so she's basking in the glory of winning the horse race. Mm-hmm. And they say, I'm sure it's hard to come up with the words for how you're feeling right now. And she said, on the contrary, I have a word that explains it perfectly.
Mon frère.
Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. Mm-hmm. And why I like this so much is I always love this, how Dick Van Dyke's part is so like different in style than Mary Poppins' part, even though it feels like a cohesive song. Even though it
sounds somewhat kind of atrocious. I fucked it up. Sorry.
It's okay. It's good. But they took off every part that he has from that. They changed every word of that song.
They turned it into an ensemble number. It is a huge ensemble.
It was already an ensemble number.
No, but I mean, like, well, yeah, I guess.
And so it doesn't have to be changed. And they had like these super cute cutaways in the movie. I told you about that line where the guy's like, she's like, better say it carefully or it can change your life. And he goes, if I may. One day I said this word to my girlfriend and now she's my wife. Mm-hmm. His wife hits him on the head and she said, and what a lovely thing she is too.
Oh, that's super cute.
It's funny.
Yeah.
And then they go back into Supercalifragilistic and they end it at a place where normal songs end, which is also what I appreciate.
So, the song is fine and people enjoy it, but it is interminable.
Guys, they beat it like 10 minutes.
They squeeze it for every drop.
And then you think it's gone.
And then it comes back.
Yeah, was this the one where we said, oh, no, that was later. Never mind. Yeah, I'll save it.
Oh, I know what you're going to say. Playing the game.
Wait.
This is when she breaks the toy, dude.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that's right.
Okay.
Okay, why?
After the children act like little shits, Mary Poppins magically puts them under a spell and sings the lesson of treating toys nicely. That's what they're little shits. Okay.
Oh no.
So she puts them to bed with the magic. She does a boom and they fall asleep.
Right.
And then she sings the lesson of treating toys nicely, which I'm like, why is she singing this? They're asleep, but then they wake up. So first of all, the entire nursery full of toys comes to life, and then the children awake to see their toys alive, right?
Yeah.
And Michael refuses to learn the lesson of playing nice. He's just like, you can't tell me what to do. They're my toys, and if I want to, he's literally like, fuck you, Mary Poppins. Which it just sucks that they're
both
dicks.
Are like, ugh.
So Mary puts them back to sleep, and all of the toys set off on their own. They leave. The toys.
I know your toys.
Yeah, your toys are gonna be gone, and they all leave. So it's odd to me. And then the song moves into Chim Chim Cheree reprise, which is Bert and Mary meeting on the roof to reprise their familiar melody. They sing it together. Mary explains that she's leaving on account of the children needing to do the next bit on their own. Okay, remember, he's like, Mary, they're good kids, and she's like, I wouldn't be trying if they weren't good kids.
Can I ask you?
But they have to do the next bit on their own.
Can I ask you?
Please.
Did you the toy storyline was at all relevant or necessary?
No, that it was really dumb.
It was out of nowhere.
Yeah, it was really dumb. But the guy in the little boat was...
Okay. And again, I would never shit on the production value of the show.
Production value at Tuacahn is stupid. It is.
Yeah, but like
they must just
Mary
shit
Poppins
money.
in general. Like I honestly just think from everything that I saw, I looked at pictures of London. I looked at pictures of Broadway. It looks great.
Oh, it looks fantastic.
It's not that. It's
I told you, man. It's the same thing. You cherish this movie, and I get it, and I cherish it now, having rewatched it. It doesn't change the fact it's a good musical. I don't want to say it's a great musical. It's a good musical.
I will say though, of like every storyline, I did not understand.
Here's the difference: the movie is flawless.
Yeah,
the movie is. Nobody's gonna say this is. Nobody's gonna watch that movie and be like, "This is a good movie." It's a fantastic movie.
Yeah, if you don't love Mary Poppins, you're just wrong.
Yeah.
Like, I know we say they're just our opinions, but that's actually like not an opinion.
Yeah, that's like when you say like when someone doesn't like the Beatles, you're wrong.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
That's,
you can have your own opinion on other things, but not on the Beatles.
Also, like you can have your own opinion, but that doesn't stop you from being wrong.
Right.
And someone had to tell you.
Yeah, of course. So the children wake to a note that Mary has gone and the toys are missing.
Who cares?
And the curtain drops.
Okay, cool.
And it's a really, like, kind of, like you said, who cares? It's a weird way to drop the curtain.
I'm sorry, but Mary Poppins leaving? No, that was never the deal.
Yeah, she doesn't leave. That's weird. Okay.
They have to do this next bit on their own.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. Act 2, Cherry Tree Lane reprise. I think that's the second time Cherry Tree Lane reprises. Winifred thinks she's...
I feel like you've said that song like 14 times.
Everything reprises like several times.
Is this like the 12th time we've sang Cherry Tree Lane?
I still have a page and a half.
Holy moly.
Winifred thinks she's clever by bringing Mr. Banks' childhood nanny to replace Mary. George sees her and runs off immediately. Do you remember? Do you even remember? Okay. Brimstone and Treacle, Part 1. Miss Andrew administers her potion of brimstone, treacle, and cod liver oil and lets us know there's a new sheriff in town.
Number 1. As if this woman would still be alive.
Right. Yeah. She'd be 200. But whatever. But, I don't know, man. I don't know how long limey people live. Maybe, like, shepherd's pie is the fountain of youth.
You have a good point. I do love me a good shepherd's pie.
Yeah, it's good stuff. Brimstone and treacle and carbonic soap. These are the tools of my trade. With spoonfuls of sugar, you don't have a hope of seeing that changes are made.
What's carbonic soap?
I don't know. It doesn't
soap
sound
with
like
a lot of carbon in it?
Yeah, totes. It's scratchy.
Aren't we like made of carbon? Is it like?
It's a different podcast, girl. It's a science podcast.
Welcome back to
the children run away. Let's Go Fly a Kite. We love the song. It was stolen from Pops. It was moved to here.
He was robbed.
He's robbed because it's a really precious moment.
Not that it matters because he was also robbed of a good character arc.
Yeah.
But whatever.
Okay, so Bertrand and Michael. Bert shows Michael how to fly a kite. Soon to be joined by a park full of people that are singing along, watching, and other kites are being flown. Michael's kite flies so high that the string breaks. Mary descends, suspended from the proscenium, again, and returns the kite to Michael. The children tell Mary of the horrors suffered under Miss Andrews' tutelage. There's a cool dance interlude after a whole 30 seconds. They ran away after her song. They literally ran away.
Oh, her song was so bad, Mary.
Her song was so scary, and they ran away. There's a cool dance interlude, though, after the song. After Let's Go Fly a Kite, where the ensemble dancers do twirlies and whirlies, holding kites, and it looks like kites flying, and it's a very, very, very cool thing.
Cute.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So they wave them to and fro, and I liked it a lot.
Love Let's Go Fly a Kite.
Agreed. Good for nothing. George sings a short reprise that advances his story. The sight of Miss Andrews was enough to scare him straight. Illusions may shatter, but memories stay. The things that really matter I lost on the way. The sovereign, the master, and long may he reign. The famous good for nothing of Cherry Tree Lane. So it literally just advances his story. He's like, oh, I just grew up right now. Like, what's important is not,
After seeing a nanny one time. This is
because
bad.
Nothing happens. Nothing.
This is bad.
He runs away and then he. Yeah.
It's like they got them so far into the whole of these are awful people. How do we fix them? And then they had to do it real quick.
At least it's not during the last number like it is in Addams Family, where it's just like.
All right, guys. Do you want to know what happens for the whole rest of the time? Listen to this one song. Everything is resolved for you right now.
Yeah. Because this is still.
They also in Addams Family they all had the same problem. Did you notice that?
Of them.
All of them. It was all the same problem.
Okay. Brimstone and Treacle Part 2. Mary Poppins returns with the children, and the nannies have a heated exchange.
We shit you not. There is a nanny battle.
There's a nanny off.
It's
stupid.
So stupid.
Miss Andrews aims to remain in charge. She mocks Mary and her new methods as her cruel methods ensure that children know their place.
How the fuck would she know her methods? She's been there 2 seconds.
She's just like, you're 12, bitch. You know nothing.
You're 20 to what, 20?
Yeah. Look at you with your pert breasts. You think you know anything
that
about
is her
life?
Age range, right? You could be 20 or 20.
You're like 20 or at most 20. So like... So Miss Andrews thinks that her cruel methods ensure children know their place. Mary lets Miss Andrews' lark free from its cage, and it flies off, and it pisses off Miss Andrews, right? The nannies have a face-off, incorporating their respective songs as counterpoint to each other.
They should have had a rap battle.
That would have been kind of cool. So I don't know if I've ever explained counterpoint to you guys, so I'll do it now. Counterpoint is it's a simple concept. It's the combination of different melodies, 2 or more, at the same time. Okay, so when this is done well, it's very enjoyable. It's very pleasing to the human brain. Usually, one melodic line travels it has certain tendencies, and the contrapuntal line works opposite of those tendencies. Okay, so for example, if one line is traveling upward, probably the protagonist, Mary's, would be very melodic. It would go up because she would be the higher voice, right? The contrapuntal line would move down, okay? And you'd notice that. Your brain would be like, oh, that's really cool how they are, like, one's going up and one's going down. Your brain processes that without whether or not you notice it. So that's cool. That's what counterpoint is, okay? All of that to say, Brimstone and Treacle is countered with just a spoonful of sugars. That's how those two work in contrapuntally. Mary uses her powers to trap Miss Andrews in a bird cage, and
which, by the way, like, I think she came in with a bird, right? And then Mary let her bird go, and then she put her in the cage.
But the cage just, like, manifests
through the trapdoor.
They
loved that trapdoor.
They do a lot of production value. They have a lot of production value.
Yeah, I know, but I'm saying they use that.
They use the hell out of it. But she is vanished to what we can assume to be the depths of hell, because when the cage descends, there's a red light from below the trapdoor.
Yeah, that's a big yikes to me.
That's dark. I feel like that's dark, right? But that's what they went with. That could have been a production choice. Practically perfect reprise. Jane and Michael bring back Mary's melody to happily welcome her back to the nursery. So they're like, you're practically perfect.
All of a sudden, nightmare kids can change after being left alone with
we had to endure
nanny for
1 spoonful of cod liver oil, so that sucks.
That's what I'm saying.
Mary,
what did they have to endure?
I don't know. Have you ever had cod liver oil?
Yeah.
You've had that?
Yeah.
It's fucking disgusting.
It's gross.
Girl, like you cannot get that flavor off your tongue.
Good for you.
It's good for you when you're a kid. And it's like, it's so thick. Do you remember how like it's so thick and slimy?
It's disgusting.
And it's disgusting.
But,
it's absolutely
but it's
disgusting.
good for you.
Yeah.
So they need to get over it.
Yeah.
Also, what did
Buck
they do?
up.
Okay, Mark, in your opinion, what did the kids do on their own?
Nothing.
That required her coming back. What they had to deal with 2 seconds. And
They
then
ran away, and then his
run
kite
away
string
from
broke.
Their problems.
They ran away, and his kite string broke.
I don't get the.
So I mean, no, I'm with you. It's very, very fast forward of exposition, but so they tell Mary she's practically perfect, and she lets them know that although she is practically perfect, there is still always room for improvement. Chim Chim Cheree reprise. Is that the second time or the third time?
Second.
Okay, Mary.
No, maybe third. Because
it starts with Chim Chim Cheree.
It's at the beginning, so it's the third because it's when they meet on the rooftop. That's the second.
That was the second. This is the third. Mary and the children join Bert on the roof for one last Chim Chim Cheree, or one. Yeah. They are joined by the entire dance ensemble for Step in Time.
Step in Time.
How could this not be part of this show? The familiar Step in Time swells from a slow thematic introduction. We kind of didn't like this. Remember, it was like. Dun, 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 dun,
Here's the thing.
It was like a choo-choo building
Why
steam.
are you starting it so
And
quiet?
yeah,
and also,
like,
why do you keep killing the song for me
okay,
halfway
so why?
through?
Okay, we're gonna talk about that. But like, yeah, it was like. Dun, 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 dun,
Stepping time. And then all of a sudden, it was like,
and then it gets to this great point. Okay, so where am I? Okay, so Step in Time swells from a slow thematic introduction into the full-blown dance number that we all know and we all love.
Wrong.
And then they did this really weird thing and slowed it down in the middle of the song for an interlude, which was an odd choice because the song had built so much steam, and then they just stopped it.
That's what this is very metaphorical for the show for me.
Where it's like in a full sprint, and then it's like, then it just stops.
Just all the time, though.
Mary and Bert show off amongst the ensemble with 2 full chorus lines, which I thought was really rad. Mm-hmm. Their own respective dance breaks. Mary was impressive. So was Bertrand. Tap dancing. And a ridiculous display of production value that I was convinced was just Tuacahn swinging its big-ass Tuacahn dick. But I think they did this on Broadway. Bert taps over to stage left. He taps his happy ass up the stage left leg, walks across the proscenium upside down whilst tapping clickety clackety clack, right? Doing fucking Shirley Temples, which I don't remember what a Shirley Temple is. It's like a jump. It goes. I can't remember it. Damn it! I could do it if I stand up. But he's doing his, he's doing his tappa all across the proscenium. He stops in the middle and does like a little break, and then he goes back. He keeps going to stage right, and then down the stage right leg. Fucking okay, spectacular. Physically, like visually, one of the top 3 most amazing things I've ever seen in a live production. I had no idea that was coming. I'm sure anyone else that's going to see Mary Poppins, that's a fan of Mary Poppins, probably knows that's coming, and they're like, oh my God. And it would still have a jaw-dropping value, but like I had no fucking idea I was just like, my jaw was on the floor. I looked at Israel, my buddy that I go to Tuacahn with, and I was like, these people are just doing things just to do them. Like, it's just like, hey, we can do this, but then I come to find out it was also on Broadway.
I mean, it's cool though. I like it.
It was just absolutely incredible.
I didn't see it because it was out of frame, but I'm sure it would have been really cool.
I found promo reel from Broadway. Promo reel. So multi-camera. We'll watch it as soon as we get off camera. You're going to be like, I cannot believe that. It is so cool. It's just so epic and memorable. Great way to, the song ends with the chimney sweeps exiting through the Banks house as they do in the film, right? A Man Has His Dreams reprise. George breaks his family heirloom and is reminded of his youth, right? He breaks his mom's vase and he finds something inside of it, whatever.
I love that you thought it was his mom's
I thought it was I thought it was an urn. I was mixing Mary Poppins and Meet the Parents.
So oh my God.
A spoonful.
That'd be a funny musical.
Right? Yeah, well, that would work.
I'm watching you, the song.
The Circle of Trust.
Jinxie Cat.
Jinxie Cat. Oh my God, I can't. That would would work like so hard. Spoonful of Sugar reprise. Bert brings back his original song from the flick, helping George to realize that soon enough his children will have grown.
They decide now to rip it straight from the movie, guys. Nothing changed about this.
As we're getting to like the point of climax,
also,
it's just like,
we didn't talk about this, but halfway through the musical, do you remember when Bert was just randomly in the house?
Yeah, that was right now. That was right after the chimney sweeps exited. And then that's where we're just like, what's he doing in the house?
It was before.
It was right now, and it was also before this.
Yeah.
It was
halfway through. Top of Act 2. We were like, what's he doing in the house?
He's just waiting for things to happen so that he can further the narrative. But it's just like, why can't you just exit and then come out and further the narrative?
And walk in front of it, like be the narrator. And the thing is, if you're gonna make him the narrator, just make that apparent to me.
Yeah.
Because they took away his narration from the beginning. That would have set that up.
And we would have expected it.
Narration at top of the act, narration at top of Act 2.
Yeah.
Like that.
And then sparsed in. Sparsed in is fine. Yeah.
Sure.
But they didn't do it at the beginning, and then it's weird when all of a sudden at the top of Act 2,
and they're like,
what?
are they supposed to like see them?
Is he a ghost?
Yeah, like, are they supposed to see him?
Yeah,
is he like chimney sweeping, which he wasn't?
I don't know if it was a production choice, but for me, I would have exited him, and then he comes back and moves story. Agreed. Upon Bert's exit, the children say goodnight to their father and give him 6 pence each to help do their part around the house. Remember? And he's just like, Mary Poppins put you up to this? And they're like, Mary Poppins doesn't know we have 6 pence, right? And so he's kind of moved by that. Anything can happen. This is a new song, and I like it a lot. It does come back a few times. I feel like it falls in line with the story, Mary teaching lessons, right? If you reach for the stars, all you get are the stars, but we found a whole new spin. If you reach for the heavens, you get the stars thrown in. It's a pretty song. It's a pretty melody. It sounds newer, but I like it, and I feel like it fits well with the show. Feed the Birds reprise. Everything reprises. Birdwoman brings back the gorgeous melody. Mr. Banks pays her to feed the birds on his behalf. Precision and order. This is where I'm talking about in the bank, the boring song. The bank execs inform Mr. Banks that the loan he made to the humble businessman has been paid in full and that new opportunities are coming from it. Banks is promoted and given a tremendous raise. Banks accepts on the terms that his family will always come first.
Guess why this is dumb?
For a lot of reasons.
Okay. This is the last thing that I'm gonna make drawn out. I promise.
Okay.
So number one, I have something to unpack before that. So about Feed the Birds. I didn't like this at all, and the reason why is because
Pops.
So this comes back to the children being pure of heart, which they are not in the stage show.
No.
I really love the fact that Mary Poppins is singing about the bird woman as they're going to bed. They refuse to go to bed. They're being stubborn. She starts to sing about the bird woman, and it plants this idea in Michael's mind that he's going to spend his tuppence on the bird woman.
Yeah.
That's what happened earlier. I thought that was really magical. I felt like it was a lot more somber than Mary dancing through the streets and the bird woman singing with her. I felt like that was super weird. I feel like you could still have a reprise where the bird woman sings her song, but I think that as a bedtime story, it's just so pretty, and I think it needs that somber moment.
Yeah, I agree.
Now, as far as this whole thing that happens with George Banks at the end, I hate this because the movie, the reason why he was called into work so late is because Jane and Michael had accompanied him to work. Mary was being very sneaky.
They caused a run on the bank for the day.
Mary was about to be let go. So instead, she twists it under his nose again. Oh, you're so right. Like, you need to spend time with your kids.
Take the kids.
They're going to come to work with you. Jane and Michael will be at your side.
Yeah.
That song again. That song again. So he takes them to work. They both have their tuppence with them, and the owner of the bank is like, you need to invest it. Yeah. So they sing. That's when they sing like their fiduciary, like whatever it is.
It's really boring.
Song to them. Yes,
but on purpose. On purpose. It's boring on purpose.
Yes. They get super angry that he doesn't want to invest it in the bank.
He snatches the tuppence back from the bank owner, and he's like, "Give me my money!" And then people think that the bank is trying to refuse a withdrawal of someone, and he causes a run on the bank. It's
so funny.
And so, like, it's just funny to me that a run on the bank, like, in what world are there enough people inside the bank to hear that to cause a run on the bank? But
I want all my money out now.
Like, give me, and everyone's like in coats and tails too. Like, it's very funny.
He's trying to take that kid's money. No, but this is what I'm getting to. So the fundamental difference of George Banks' climax, is that in the movie he had made a mistake to make the bank look bad, and so they were gonna fire him. And at that point, they had like taken his hat and like punched it out and like made him look ridiculous. And then he gets this break in his head, like, wait, they're treating me like this. My family wants to spend time with me. Fuck this. He starts cracking up. He starts telling the jokes the kids were supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. He goes nuts, and they're like, what are you
this
talking
guy's
about?
insane.
Yeah, but then in this one, he had done something right. He was giving them money. He was going to get a promotion. Nothing had really changed for him. So why all of a sudden did he break into hysterics and start talking about his kids?
He doesn't break into hysterics.
He starts laughing.
He just says like my family's gonna come first. He starts laughing. Ha ha ha!
Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. He does the same thing, and I felt like it really came out of nowhere.
Oh, it comes from excitement. It's supposed to come from excitement of the job offer. But then he sees his wife, and he's like, "Well, my family comes first."
His wife barrels into the bank. So what? She's a weakling, and all of a sudden she's gonna get like this second win?
Well, because she sings. La 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 la. Did I skip it? I thought, well, shit. In one of she sang a song somewhere.
It was like they were telling her to go in, or
it's got to be coming up. Hold on.
Go in.
Okay, so the blah 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 blah. Mary and Bert. Anything Can Happen Part 2. Mary and Bert bring back the catchy tune, which becomes a full company number that feels like the end of the show, but it isn't. Great harmonies between Mary and Bert. The ensemble comes out in black with twinkle lights to represent the stars. I really like this to end the show, but it's not the end of the show. Not sure why it's not, but we'll revisit that in about a minute. Spoonful of Sugar 2. Knowing that her work is done, Mary Poppins says her goodbyes to Bert, sings a heartfelt reprise of her Spoonful theme. She exits, and the Banks children are saddened, but realize that she's needed elsewhere. Mr. Banks assures the family that they will be fine without a nanny. She gives Michael a kite for them to fly together. I had to have skipped a song.
Hey.
There's a song somewhere where she realizes that... I'm going to find it.
She needs to...
This is going to be out of order, and I apologize.
She needs to take it into her own hands, right? Isn't that what it was? Before she went to the bank, there was like a discussion or something.
I thought I wrote it. I guess I didn't. There's a song where she realizes that he grew up under that woman's tutelage, and she's like, no wonder you're repressed, right? And she vows to be strong for her man. She's like, I will defend you as you find out who you are. As we let the real you out, I will be the strong woman that you need me to be, so that you can be the real you, not the repressed you that woman created. I can't believe I didn't write it down.
You know what else I hate about that? And I'm about to sound like really crusading for feminism again, but it's so bullshit that the one time we see her strong is because she wants to be strong for her man. It's so stupid.
It is what it is, man. So, knowing that her work is done, Mary Poppins says her goodbyes to Bert. Sings a heartfelt reprise of her Spoonful theme. She exits, and the Banks children are saddened, but they realize she's needed elsewhere. Mr. Banks assures the family that they'll be fine without a nanny. Gives Michael a kite. Okay, a shooting star. This is orchestral underscoring of Mary's flight. They fly her directly into the spotlight, casting the silhouette of her iconic dress and umbrella and heels. It is perfect. Very memorable way to end the show, even though it is not sung. It's just orchestral underscoring. Vows happen to step in time for the ensemble, which is super cool because most of them actually come out in in a chorus line. It's a chorus line of Chimney Sweeps is the first set of vows. Then we get orchestral Let's Go Fly a Kite for the Banks family. And then we get Anything Can Happen reprise for Mary's vow. The full ensemble sings the theme again. And again, I'm in love with it as a closer. It builds to a great fortissimo. The show's going to end. And...
Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious.
Fuck. I cannot.
Please stop.
Again. And they milk the shit out of it again. I swear to God, 3 deceptive endings. 3.
Yeah.
Okay. So where you think it's a cadence and then it keeps going. And
SCPER.
then you think it's a cadence and it keeps going. And I get it. It's a memorable song, but at this point, I'm just very over it. I'm over it. Right?
Yeah.
It's been just too much.
Yeah.
So that's it. Do we want to know the deleted songs or no? We're fine. This has been enough.
No, I think I talked mildly about them.
Yeah. Okay. Favorite song?
I mean, I think "Feed the Birds" is beautiful.
Mm-hmm. I agree. That's
but
my favorite
I also
song.
love "Spoonful." And Jolly, honestly,
for different Spoonful's more
for
memorable, but
for
"Feed the Birds" is objectively the most beautiful.
I like
song.
"Jolly Holiday."
Sure. Okay. I can't be mad at you for that, but I agreed with your first. "Feed the Birds" for me. If I one song to pick.
Yeah, that was Walt Disney's favorite.
Least favorite?
The pink one.
Precision and Order.
Yeah.
Or for me, playing the game when the toys.
This is my problem. I went straight to the movie. Yes. I hate that song.
Yeah, I didn't.
But I also think Cherry Tree Lane is very, very boring.
Okay.
I don't know. That's
all right. You ready for accolades?
Yeah, I also have some reviews, so you do after.
No, you do reviews first.
Okay. So I only found 2 that were different. There was a lot of reviews raving about this, which makes me feel like an a-hole, but that's okay. So the first one I have, Mary Poppins is an unashamedly old-fashioned, feel-good musical, at times very pantomimic in style, ideal family Christmas time entertainment for children of all ages. Christmas time. I thought that was very interesting.
Yeah.
That was a review from the theater that originally held them in London.
Okay.
And then this is the New York Times article for the Broadway production.
Okay.
Just a little snippet because it was very long.
Sure.
In New York, it is made clear that the heart of this show is not in the starry skies to which Mary ascends in the finale, or even among the rooftops where Mary's best friend forever, Bert, works as a chimney sweep, but somewhere closer to the kitchen sink. Which to me sounded very negative.
Yeah, I'm having a hard time trying to spin that.
Yeah. So to me, that meant that it was pretty mundane.
Okay.
Which, because in having read the context of the rest of his review, that's exactly what he thought.
Okay.
He thought that they had taken away all of the fun elements that London had done, and he didn't like, the changes from the movie, and it was very, he just said it felt very like, look at me, I'm Mary Poppins. And I have to agree.
We had that thought too.
Yeah.
Okay, 2007 Tony Awards. Best Musical. Lost to Spring Awakening.
Okay.
I've never seen that show. Neither of you, right?
No, I'm excited to.
Yeah. Best Performance Leading Actor in a Musical. Gavin Lee as Bert. Lost to David Hyde Pierce from Curtains. Best Performance.
That's not what I thought you were gonna say.
What did you think I was gonna say?
Wasn't he also in Spamalot?
He was, but
that was not 2000.
Yeah, that was not 2007. Best Performance Featured Actress in a Musical. Rebecca Luker. Lost to Mary Louise Wilson, Grey Gardens. Best Choreo, Matthew Bourne, Stephen Mear. Lost to Bill T. Jones, Spring Awakening. Best Scenic Design, Bob Crowley won. Best Costume Design, Bob Crowley. Lost to William Ivy Long of Grey Gardens. Best Lighting Design, Howard Harrison. Lost to Kevin Adams of Spring Awakening. So the only win was Best Scenic Design, which strong. Very, very strong.
Like that.
Drama Desks, 07. Outstanding Musical, lost to Spring Awakening. Outstanding Book, Julian Fellows, lost to Rupert Holmes and Peter Stone of Curtains. Outstanding Actress in a Musical, Ashley Brown Mary, lost to Audrey McDonald, 110 in the Shade. Is that Audra McDonald? Or is
Audra, for sure, right?
Okay, it says Audrey, but I don't know who was in 110 in the Shade, but I'm not aware of an Audrey McDonald, so I'm going to assume that that's Audra. And also, so it was a tie. Donna Murphy of Love Music. Outstanding Featured Actor in a Musical, Gavin Lee Burt, won. So that's a Drama Desk. Outstanding Choreo, Matthew Bourne and Stephen Mear, lost to Andy Blankenbuehler in The Heights. Outstanding Set Design, Bob Crowley, won.
Okay.
How can it be improved? So easy.
Make it the movie.
Look.
Stick to the movie.
Like literally, this is not science. Stick to the movie.
Yeah.
Stick to the movie.
Hey,
Keep Practically Perfect. It's a beautiful song.
How about you don't try to change something that's already perfect?
Yeah.
Very good.
Yep. Agreed. So we don't even need to go beyond that. Who do we want to play? I don't actually. For me, I don't think there's anybody.
Mary.
You don't want to be Mary?
Yeah.
I can't be Bert.
What am I gonna do? Play Jane? I don't want to be forgotten actress woman.
I don't know, man. If I was a girl, I'd want to play Feed the Birds. If I'm honest.
Do you want to be George Banks?
God. I
feel like that's like the only part that has like parts.
I guess.
You could be the guy that passes out.
Yeah. What's his name? Like weird name. I don't know. I don't know if there's anything in this for me.
I think if you
in a perfect world, if I can drink dancing potion, I would love to be Bertrand, but like, no, that's not me. Overall thoughts: like, love, hate.
I'm struggling because I definitely don't hate it.
Mm-hmm.
I definitely don't even like dislike it.
Mm-hmm.
I dislike it in relation to the movie, but
right.
as a musical all on its own, I like it fine. I think it's fine.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll give it a 2 fines up.
2 fines. I like it.
Okay.
I like it.
What do we think in terms of like letter grade?
Okay, so.
Oh, okay. So here's okay, guys. We're gonna introduce this. We did create a totem pole of all the past ones we want because we want to do this in relation to the ones that we've rated already.
Right.
We want to do a Top Gear thermometer situation.
Yeah. So how do you want to approach this? Do we want to construct a letter grade first?
Yes.
And then see what's in its proximity?
Yes. I'll tell you how I'm feeling in my head. You tell me what's around it.
Okay. I like that.
Okay.
So give me your letter grade.
B-.
Yeah, same. It's a B-.
Yes.
Is it a high B- or is it an 80 or is it 83?
I don't know. What do we have around B-?
Okay. This is why we did this.
Yes.
Low B- is... Oh, there's only one B-.
Okay. What is it?
Addams Family with an 80%.
I'm struggling.
Are you?
Did I just like Addams Family more than this?
You have to. I think so.
I give this an 81. Yeah.
I'm gonna give it an 83, and we're gonna
put it at an 82.
We're gonna round to an 82.
Rad.
You okay with that?
I feel that.
Okay.
Yeah. 82 is more than fair to me.
Okay, so that's that.
What's above it? What's just above that? Sorry.
Woman.
I'm just sorry. I was curious.
Above it, Mattress with an 86.
Yeah.
Mattress is a better musical. Objectively.
I feel great about where that is.
Mattress is a better musical, like, objectively.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So, yeah. So that's it, right? We're giving it an 82, a B- 82.
That's passing.
Huh.
Yeah. Okay. Well, good. So that's that.
What's that?
Hey, stage manager, how much time we got?
Looks like we're 5 to curtain.
Oh, thank you, 5. Would you like to wheel in our wheels, stage manager?
I don't know if I can. I'm paralyzed from the waist down.
So, next week's pick. For the Love of Jehovah. Can this not be from the years 2000 to 2016
at this point?
For the Love of Christ.
Okay, guys.
So
I'm so sorry I keep taking you on the same magic time machine ride.
Here we go.
So here's what we got. Do you wanna alternate?
Applause.
SpongeBob SquarePants.
Aaron Slick from Pumpkin Crick.
Can't make this shit up, guys.
Nope, that's real.
Damn Yankees.
Tomas, the Who's Tommy.
Nice. Funny Girl.
Hedwig and the Angry Inch.
The Hot Mikado.
Priscilla, Queen of the Desert.
The Court Jester.
I know nothing of what that is, but I kind of hope. I really just want it to be something old, man. Rocky the Musical. I swear to Christ, if it falls on Rocky the Musical.
Man of La Mancha.
Let's Make Love.
Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.
And that's it.
All right.
Okay, girl. Like your life depends on it.
Hey, do you mind getting this on your phone too? Just a little like close
little
up.
Spin.
We'll put it on the Insta.
Okay, here
All
it
right,
goes.
fam.
Wait for it.
Okay. Tell me what.
How do you want it? Right here.
Yeah. Okay. 1, 2, 3. I'm so scared.
Oh my God! Yes!
SpongeBob SquarePants!
Well, I mean, it's new. It's another it's a 2018.
I give 0 shits.
But at least it's good.
Woo!
Oh, I'm so excited.
Oh.
It is so good. It is so good.
Logan has been saying when we get it, he wants to watch it.
It is so good.
Yeah.
You guys peaked hard on that.
I'm really sad that the Nickelodeon Pro Shot cut the best song. But what I'm hopeful for, because we're gonna have to pay for it because they aired it on Nickelodeon like one day, right?
Yeah.
I'm hopeful that when you buy it, it's uncut.
Okay.
But if it's not, maybe we can find a bootleg of that song. Because girl, the crab guy,
Mr. Krabs,
his daughter,
Pearl,
sings her fucking face off. She sings her face off, and they cut it. And I'm like, I was watching it, and I'm like, what the shit? Like, why would you cut the best song in this musical? It's so good. So, regardless, we're gonna see it. We're gonna see that.
I'm so excited.
I'm so excited.
I'm like seriously.
Yeah, that was a weight off, especially after this week, freaking
means,
election week, and then like I'm like, okay, we're gonna watch another.
This whole month is gonna be fucking bomb.
It is
because after this we're doing
SpongeBob, and then for Thanksgiving we're picking from a list of 14 of our favorite musicals that we're thankful for.
We're doing that 2 weeks in a row.
We're doing that 2 weeks in a row. So the rest of this month is gonna be good shit, guys.
So brace yourselves because December could suck.
Yeah. How do these people find us?
All right. So you can find us on Instagram at Not Another Musical. You can find us on Facebook at Not Another Musical. You can find us on YouTube at Not Another Musical. And of course, we're on Apple Podcasts. Obviously, and
please
Spotify.
like, subscribe, please comment. It helps us become relevant in the world of podcasts.
Tell
it
us
doesn't
what your favorite
have to be
SpongeBob
a
character is.
Yes, tell us your favorite SpongeBob character. Tell us your favorite Rona hobby, even if it's a weird one, especially if it's a weird one. Do whatever it is? Just click 5 stars and write something in there. And
send it in, and we'll
us.
send you a sticker, man.
Yeah, send us your 5-star review, and we will send you a sticker. Snapshot it, put it on the book face or on the Instagram. And Allie will see it, and then we will send you a sticker.
Super pumped about this, guys.
I'm so excited for SpongeBob.
Join us next week while we review SpongeBob SquarePants.
Yes.
All right, guys. Thanks. That's a wrap on Mary Poppins.
We'll see you at the cast party, guys. Bye. Oh my God.
So excited.
Yeah, same.